Hey, what's up, beautiful people? My name is Smith. You probably know, if you don't know, I have my own podcast called Public Comment. And that's kind of where I share a lot of educational, positive, motivational stuff. And today, I put this presentation together because of the reason that I created the podcast Public Comment. Um, Somewhere around 2019, 20, somewhere around there. You know, doing some work in the community, have overheard a conversation, and you know, just information wasn't getting to the people. Well, I should have said them. The funds, the program, and the resources that are designed to assist folks, that information wasn't getting funneled down to the desired demographics. So I'm saying, hold on, let me try to be an avenue, right, to get the information out there, and that's why I created public comment. With all of that being said, you know, I put this presentation together to hopefully build a bridge or even repair a bridge um, that hasn't been there or is in total disarray when we start talking about how parents and students participate in school. There's a lot of disconnect um, from both sides. It's a lot of conditioned bias. It's just a lot of trauma, and it's a lot of the unknown. And hopefully, I want to try to heal that as much as I can. Um, Doing a lot of work, I see that there's a lot of money or funds for aftercare services after young people um, um, venture off from the path that their loving adults or their village would want them on. I came upon, I didn't know this forever. I want to sit here and sound like I know everything. But I did come across one of the most profound quotes ever that I stand on. And, you know, it's by the wonderful Mr. Frederick Douglass, who says it's easier to raise strong boys rather than repair broken men. Now, may not be verbatim, but you get the point. Like, we need to invest in young folks instead of waiting to try to repair them and reverse some of the damage that they did to themselves or maybe even to others. Right. So that's why I put this together. Hopefully, you'll find it useful. Again, this is just a quick overview. It will be recorded so you can watch it later. I'll put it on my YouTube channel so you can watch it then and you can share it with people. So pull up a chair, take notes if you care to, and you don't really have to take notes, but I'm going to start sharing and we'll go through the slideshow as quickly as I possibly can. All right. So I titled it Into School. I don't want to say back to school because that would assume that we've been welcomed, that the bridge has been full of balloons and pomp and circumstances since day one, and actually hasn't been that. So to be intentful or intentional with the words I use, I chose into school. How do we get into school? How do we participate? How do we engage? Right. And it's presented by My Most Beautiful LLC, where we provide consultation, time management, cultural awareness programs, mentoring, what have you. So let's get to it. Topic areas real quick. Who are the players? Right? What's this team? What's this Wizard of Oz place? Who's involved, right? Who does what? How do you get credits, right? How do you accrue credits? What is A through G? And then the LCAP. It's pretty important there that a lot of people don't even know about. A lot of school employees don't even know about the LCAP. And then at the bottom, it says, I don't know why it's cut my screen off, but it says tips for student success. Bonus points if you know what this institution is. Got the mouse on it. It's a very prestigious institution, one I'm proud to say I know, one that has changed my life in a way indirectly that it would never know. So if you know what that is, kudos to you. And if you don't, I'll try to remember at the end to give it a shout out. Here we go. Who are the players? So the players are administration, faculty, parent or guardian, which is you if you're watching, and student, which is you if you're watching. Student. Okay, everybody, there's a puzzle. Everybody's got a part to play in this for that puzzle to be complete, if you will. Complete is a very obnoxious word, and because you'll see where I'm going when we talk about complete. Everybody's complete, everybody's success is different. That is true. I know, sounds crazy. Administration. Superintendent. Okay, so there's different superintendents. The one that you're probably most, you should get to at least know the person's name is the one that oversees your school district. In that school district, you may have a high school or two, middle school or two, or junior high, whatever you guys call it. And then your elementaries fall under this particular supervision of the superintendent. Okay. The county has a superintendent, which oversees all of the districts in that particular county if there's more than one. There in your district, there may be your superintendent of education, your superintendent of student services, your superintendent of financial services, a plethora of things. But again, there's one main superintendent, and it would behoove you to know that person. You don't have to have coffee with them, but at least know who they are. Understand this about the superintendent in your district is hired by the school board. Okay. You have trustees on the board who are elected officials within your district who's responsible for the hiring of the superintendent. That's very important to know because when things are going wrong, everybody wants to say, remove the superintendent. Well, they're hired, right? So when you go, I would say this, as far as superintendent, you can go to a school board meeting, which they have. By law, they have to have them twice a month, I believe. Go in there and you will see the superintendent along with the school board members. Okay. And that's where you kind of find out the gist of who's doing what and where they are. So it's important to understand that superintendent is not elected. They are hired employee. Principals are just, taking care of the overall daily operations, if you will, of the school, to make sure that the faculty, staff, students are all kind of playing fair, so to speak. Assistant principals kind of fill in the gaps, are a little bit more interacting with students. Let me say this. Principals, look, I spelled it wrong. That's all right. We'll get to that. Principals are human. Let's say that. Principals are human. There are principals who are active in the daily life of the school, and I love that and I respect that. There are some who don't and just, wait for bad things to happen, quote unquote. But the assistant principal kind of fills in, probably a little bit more engaging with the students. Instructional coordinators, these are not your teacher aides. This is not what they do. They actually help prepare the curriculum that the teachers then, provide to your student. Athletic directors, if your student is athletic, you probably want to know who the athletic director is. Not that they have pull or anything, but you want to know who this person is, just in case something happens. You never know. Know who they like. If your student isn't into athletics, I wouldn't worry too much about this person. All right. Moving on to faculty. Okay, now faculty. Faculty is teachers and teachers' assistants or pairs, whatever you want to call them. Okay. 2 bullet points. One is they're a union member. And I say that because it's the caveat to everything when we start talking about when we're, well, my teacher, my kids' teacher's doing this. Okay. There's so much they can do. There's parameters of what they can do or can't do. The union is the protective contingency safety net, if you will, for teachers. Now, I'm not going to say all teachers will run to that, but understand there's only so much teachers can do because of the union. Contact should be made with the teacher at least once a week. If not, worst case, twice a week or twice a month. Listen, there was one thing I said. Teacher, don't call me in November. School been in session since August. That something's been going on this whole time. We're too late now. Let's address it immediately. How do we make that? How do we put the teacher at ease to know that they can contact you? You contact them, whether it's email, whether it's phone call, whether you're cool enough to get their number and then text them. A lot of teachers are cool with that. I know they have some third-party platforms that you can speak with school officials on utilizing. So it's directly, it's not to their cell phone, but it goes to the app and then you can contact them that way. I say utilize that. Okay. And then build that rapport, build that bridge or rebuild that bridge with your teacher or teachers, depending on level of school your student is in. All right. Different staff. Staff is not faculty. Faculty is not staff. Staff is your executive assistants, your counselors, campus supervisors, environmental control, community liaisons. Most of these wonderful folks are located in the welcoming center. You heard what I said. If you're listening to me, parents, guardians, students, whoever, please go to your school, your educational institution, and tell them to take the word office off of that building and put welcoming center. Nobody wants to go to the office. It has bad connotation. It has bad vibes. It's so old school and antiquated. Us older folks like myself who've been in school, go to the office is a bad thing. Parents go to the office is a bad thing. Call the office is a bad thing. We have to change the narrative. We have to create the environment. We have to build this place where we are welcome, where everybody is welcome. Doesn't matter what color you are, how much money you make, where you come from, what language you speak, how old you are, how young you are. The welcoming center. Please, please, please encourage your school to change it to the welcoming center. It changes the whole dynamics of the entry into this building. You heard what I said. It's not the office, it's the welcoming center. So that's faculty. Then it's parents and guardians, you that's listening, right? Here's the thing I had to learn. You are the biggest advocate for your child. You know your child. You've been, say, since day one, unless you're the guardian and you just came into the life, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You still have to build that up and be the sounding board, if you will, for your student and your child. You know them the best, what they do good, what they have challenges with. Let's talk about it all so everybody can be on the same page and we can work collectively and comprehensively to make sure this student is successful. Communication, like I just said, communicate with the school, teachers, about the principal. I wouldn't say you need to know the principal on a first name basis. It'd be cool, right? Because now you're building up that rapport, you're building up this social capital, if you will. But definitely know the teacher. I don't know if you care how you want to call them or address them, whatever, but you got to know the teacher. I would say know the principal, know some of the people in the welcoming center is always helpful. Okay. Availability. Now, this is a very, very complex one because availability, what I mean by that is being present in the school, in the classroom. If you can help at a book fair, if you can help at a pizza party, if you can help after school programs or before school programs or whatever, or maybe you can volunteer and be there for recess or lunch monitor duty, just so you can see what goes on to the school, right? Here, I want to say this. I understand all of us can't do that. A lot of us work 2 jobs. Maybe there's a single parent. What I understand, and time does not allow for that. And if it doesn't, then there's nothing you can do about that. I'm not saying go out your way, but maybe once a semester, see if you can work out some work schedules to say, hey, I need to show up to the schoolhouse for 30 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever the case is, right? I don't know how that looks, but I'm just saying it's important. One, again, it gives you an opportunity to see what's going on during school time. And then 2, it shows your student, your child, like, hey, this person's really invested in me and they care. And my education is paramount. So that's a big thing. And again, if you can't, I totally understand. I'm not here to judge anyone. I understand we all have a life to live. Students, this is you if you're watching. In class and on time. A lot of schools have 85% rule where you have to be in class for at least 85% of the time in order to attend extracurricular activities, whether that's athletics, drama, robotics, engine, or whatever. You got to be in class 85% of the time. You don't have to be on time, but I encourage being on time. One is on time when you're an older kid. it just sets the energy right. You walking in late, you probably miss a pop quiz, you just some bad vibes, teacher probably side-eyeing you. We start the whole, you know, class off wrong. So let's start with good vibes, get there on time, right? Younger kids. Now, see, this is where it's difficult because you cannot blame younger kids, parents, and guardians. When we're talking TK, preschool, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, they're usually relying on an adult to get them to school on time. And when we're talking about building the building blocks for, social interaction, academic scholarship, when we're trying to figure out the phonetics of a word, the consonant sounds, and why C is different than K, and Q is different than K, and OU can be totally different in OU and with two other different consonants around it. It is imperative that these young folks get to school on time. If the school starts at 8:20 and they show up at 8:40, they'll miss 20 minutes of work. And that's now they're behind. Here's the rebuttal. I got two different schools I got to drop kids off to. I got three different schools I got to in a daycare. Understood. Get up early. Sorry. It's what it is. Get there earlier or schedule something to where maybe you're working with another parent or another family to say, you take them this day, you got two kids on here and work together as a team, as a village. There's always ways around challenges. We just have to think outside the box, So on time. Know the syllabus. This is kind of for the older kids. Know the syllabus. It's the blueprint, it's the outline of the class, what you can expect to learn. Get ahead, right? And you can't say, oh, I didn't know we was going to be doing this at this time. I didn't know we had this project. Yes, you do if you read the syllabus. It's in there. Turning your work on time. The moral to this story is you don't do the work, and then finally at the end, you want to turn it in, and then it's just, oh, yeah, you can turn it in late. I'm only going to give you 50% of credit, though. I did all the work. I'm only getting 50%. And that's like you going to work, if you do work, young folks. If you go to work and you do a full 4-hour shift, but they're only going to pay you for 2 hours. That's real life. Communicate with the teacher, student. The teacher is a real person. They're not a robot. Talk to them. Ask them questions. They're there for you. Okay, if you don't know something, ask. If there's a question, if the smallest thing, ask. Talk to your teacher. They're humans. They're probably married. They probably have kids. They probably enjoy sports. They probably go fishing. They probably go camping. They probably listen to rap music. They probably listen to Cardi B. They probably listen to Snoop. They probably listen to Mozzie. They probably listen to stuff, but you won't know if you don't ask them. Okay? Visit with your counselor. I visited with my counselor only because she called me in the first 2 weeks of 10th grade, and I didn't see her no more until April of my senior year when I was supposed to graduate. And she told me the only reason she brought me in is because I was 20 credits short. That's a hell of a time to, excuse me, French, but that's a hell of a time to bring somebody in. This is your responsibility, student. This is about you. Go talk to your counselor. Talk to them. Find out what's going on. Well, am I in school? In my classes, what are they looking like? What's my next step? How should I prepare for graduation? What comes after graduation? Vocational school, college, working on my own, military, whatever it is. Something. Talk to the counselor. Create a schedule of success goes with that. You need a blueprint. You need a map, Google Maps, whatever, to get you to where you want to go. I don't care. I hear it a lot. Ninth grade or 10th grade. I'm just going to work for my family in construction. Great. Still need to know how to get there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of young people think, students, I'm talking to you, that, my dad runs his own construction company. I'm gonna go work for him. Okay, that's great. He don't want Joe Schmo the schmuck working for him. That doesn't know ABC, doesn't know, how to do this or that. Learn something. Have a schedule of success. Know how to be there. So when you do graduate, you can go into that function of working with the family business. All right, students, that's for you. Students, how do you get your credits? How do we accrue credits? How many credits do you need? In the state of California, you need 220 credits. 220 credits are needed to graduate high school in the state of California. 220 credits are what you need. You start accruing those credits ninth grade. Ninth grade, you start accruing those credits. 220 is what you need to graduate, students and parents. 220 credits. I can't say it enough. I get a lot of students who say, I didn't know I needed that. And they're in the 11th grade at this time, and they got 100 credits. Not good. 220. Start accruing in the ninth grade. How do we accrue credits? Right there on the screen. You get the credits by passing your enrolled class, okay? And you're going to get, as long as you pass with a D or better, you're going to get the allotted amount of credits that go with that class, okay? Here we go, example. Now, with this how I did it. I graduated with a 2.3. This is what I do know about the game. I knew I was going to struggle in English. I didn't understand English. I couldn't tell you verb or noun. I couldn't tell you run-on sentence from a fragmented sentence. I couldn't tell you. I didn't even care. I knew how to talk. So I was going to suck in English. History, I could care less. Science, I could care less about. Right. So I was probably looking at D's or F's. What I didn't know was I can probably get a C, maybe a B in math, depending on what level it was. I knew I was getting an A in gym. Right. So I finagled my way to get 2 gym classes. Those are 2 A's. Those are canceling out those D's and F's. Right. Here you go. I don't care if you get a D, whatever, let's just say math. You get a D in math. You're going to get the same 5 credits Smarty Pants got for getting an A. Doesn't matter. Here's the difference. You're still going to get your 5 credits. You're still going to pass, but now we're talking about a GPA. All right. We're talking about a GPA. So if you want A's, if you're worried about your transcript and going to a college or some other higher level of education institution, you're worried about your GPA. This is when it matters because it's going to be a big difference from A to D. Okay. But if we're just talking about passing the class and getting your credits, that's how it looks right there on the screen. You don't get no credits for F. You don't get no credits for F. Understand that. And that means you're going to have to do that class again if you want to graduate with that. Okay. There it is. This is recorded so you can take a look at it. How do we get the credits? Well, you got to be in class. Okay. You got to be in class. You have to be in class. You can't show up. This is probably for the kids that are getting these credits. You start in 9th grade. You can't show up 30 minutes late and expect to get the full complimentary. It's not going to work that way. Be in class. All right. I understand being late a couple of times, but you got to be in class on time. All right. Turn in your work on time. Like I just gave you that example. If you go to work and you work 4 hours, but they're only going to pay you for 2, you probably going to be like, man, I'm not working here. Same happens here. So you turn in your work on time. Like I said earlier, ask questions. Ask your teachers questions. They're not a robot. They're not going to bite your head off. Ask them questions. If they're standoffish, let them be standoffish. It is what it is. You be the adult. Ask the questions. Here's a one. Dressing out for gym. I know this is a big stickler for a lot of kids. Put your gym shirt on over your regular shirt. Put your gym shorts on over your pants or whatever. If you don't want to participate, fine. Dress out. I know so many students who got Fs or getting Fs. So they showed up, but they didn't dress out. I know it's not a fashion statement to dress out, but my goodness, if you're just trying to get a D, just put the clothes on over your clothes, wear them for 30, 45 minutes, however long gym class is, and then move on. Got it? That's how you get or you approve your credits. Okay. Now let's talk about what is A through G. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of this, but it's important to understand. A through G, you needed to graduate high school, but there's 2 different ones, maybe a third one we're not going to get into, but here's the one if you have parents and students interested in attending college, specifically UC or Cal State. A through G, you have to have these required that you see in parentheses as years required. And you have to have a C in all of these, all those years, every class, at least a C. If you're looking to go to UC Berkeley, UC Riverside, UC Santa Cruz, if you're looking to go to Cal State Dominguez, Cal State, East Bay, Cal State Humboldt, I think it is. Okay. This is what you're going to need for that. All right. Notice I didn't say Loyola Marymount, LMU. I didn't say Stanford. Private schools, different things, but it's probably along the same lines. Okay. You got to be making sure you take the right appropriate classes. That's A through G. If you're looking or have any interest in going to higher education of college, here's the other A through G. General age. This was me. This was me. I had no interest in going to college. This is me. I just need to get up out of here, get my diploma, and move on. Okay. Now remember, the A through G, if you have interest in going to higher education, you need a C. But now we got to go back to, this is a D. You get a D, you pass D. I don't care what your GPA is. I don't care what your GPA is. If you say, you know what, look, I'm in the 9th, 10th grade, I'm gonna work for my family business. I don't need no, I ain't trying to go to college. I just need to get my diploma. I'm gonna get my D's. I'm not saying get a D. I'm just saying you can get a D and pass all of these classes with a D, get your diploma, move on. I'm not saying get a D. I'm just saying you can get a D in all of these classes, get your diploma, and move on. Okay? Difference. A through G, going to college, A through D, get my diploma, doing something different. Okay? Understand that. Let me just say this caveat. If you're saying, oh, I don't want to go to college, I just want to get my diploma because I want to be an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur, you might as well go ahead and get that GPA. And because being an entrepreneur is not as easy as you think. It's not as easy as you think. It's so many different components that go into being an entrepreneur, to owning your own business. You're gonna want to take that other A through G. I guarantee you. That's just words of advice. My mother told me walk through words. Here we go. LCAP. Let's talk about that. Local Control and Accountability Plan. Okay. I'm not gonna read everything on the screen. I will tell you this. This is so extremely important. 95% of the parents don't even know that this exists. There's many employees of the school district that doesn't even know this exists. The county Office of Education has an LCAP, then each district has an LCAP, and then each school has an LCAP. It's designed, it's funded for stakeholders, community members, parents to be involved, to be engaged, to have input on programs and curriculums that you would like to see implemented. Now, I'm not saying it's going to get done, but your voice is valued here. It's encouraged. It's recommended. It's required. They're screaming for you. There's millions of dollars invested into the LCAP that many other people were in charge of because nobody shows up to the meetings. By law, they have to have a meeting. It's open to the public. Like I said, community stakeholders go in there, find out, go into the welcoming center and say, who's responsible for the LCAP? I want to talk to that person because I want to go to a meeting, see what they're talking about. The LCAP, I cannot tell you how important it is. Parents and guardians, check it out, please, please, please. LCAP, LCAP, LCAP. Moving on. Finishing up. Tips for success. Students, I struggle with this. I didn't want to feel like I was stupid. I was embarrassed. Go to the tutoring center. Might be in a library. Maybe it has its own location, but go there. I know here's some of the challenge, at least for me. Trying to ask for help for somebody that doesn't look like you or sound like you. I understand and recognize the importance of representation. If you need someone looking to give you some assistance and representation is a factor for you, get in touch with me. Get in touch with me. I understand that. I can understand where the barrier is, where the challenge is, where the innate thought process is. Okay? I want to say this real quick before I get up out of here. I know the messenger can be a challenging block. Okay, I know that. So sometimes it's not the message, it's the messenger. Find someone that looks like you, sounds like you, and you feel comfortable with. You're probably going to learn better. All right. Know your transportation options. Like I said earlier, if you're biking it, if you're on the bus, you're ride sharing, whatever the case is, know your options. Understand that if you're riding with somebody else, you're ride sharing, their level of importance or engaging in school and being on time may not be the same as yours. So that's important too. Parents, if you're ride sharing with other family members or other families, and we make sure everybody's on time, make sure everybody's engaged or committed as you are. Resource centers. I don't want to, this is a very touchy subject. This is probably a lot of personal information, but resource centers for any kind of thing that may be a personal of interest to you. Resource centers are located in the school, and if they're not in the school, go to the welcoming center, and then they can direct you to your local family resource center. Last but not least, students, be present and be vocal. This is about you, nobody else but you. Your mom and dad, grandfather, uncles, brothers, cousins, guardians, whoever are not sitting in class with you. They're not going to school with you. Be there. It's about you. Be vocal. So maybe some of you are introverts and you don't want to talk. At least say enough to get your point across, to get your questions answered. Okay? This is about you. All right. To be successful, you have to be present first and foremost, okay? Be present and then be vocal. Stand on your business. Stand on your business to be successful. Be committed to you, okay? Be committed to your success. All right, that's the last of the slides. I'm going to stop sharing. I hope that was helpful. I wish it was around when I was in school, or even when I was a parent starting out with my firstborn. Even the last one, like it would have been so helpful to know these things. One last thing I didn't put on there, but it's super important. I gotta get myself. If you're not happy with anything that's going on with the teacher, the school, the principal, the district, whatever, every district, every website for the district, every school site, there's what they call a uniform complaint form. Uniform complaint form. You don't, there's a direct link to it. It should have a direct link on the website. I promise you. You fill that out, you submit it. By law, the district or the school has 45 days to respond to you. Why is this important? Because I'm tired of hearing parents, guardians say, oh, this happened and no one said nothing. Well, that's only because you said something, right? We need documentation, documentation, documentation. That's the only way things get better, okay? Here's the problem. We are trying to build a bridge where now once we weren't allowed on that bridge, okay? And when we don't know the rules, we're probably going to get thrown off the bridge, or we're going to fall off the bridge, or we're going to fall through the loophole of the wooden bridge, right? Know that. Uniform complaint form. Get it, fill it out, submit it. Now we create this documentation against whatever, digression you feel has been extended to either yourself or to your student. Okay, that's super, super, super important. All right. Again, all of this is being recorded. At least I hope it is. I'll have it on my YouTube channel. If not, beautiful people, I hope that was helpful. If you're if you're not a parent, you're not a guardian, maybe you're that cool uncle, maybe you're the cool coach or the cool auntie, share this with your loved ones, and hopefully, it will save you and the student some time and some stress. So next time, people, you guys be well. I'm going to stop recording now.